There we go. And what I might do, I might just put everybody, oh no, I think we're pretty good now. I was thinking, is anybody else getting feedback? Or is everybody good with audio? Perfect, okay. Well, I am very, very excited for our kickoff today, in case you couldn't tell by my thread of emails over the last couple of days. This has been an amazing journey for me to be on for the last 30 years of my life to figure out the matrix. But this is the first time that I'm actually doing online group coaching. So with the matrix in particular, I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching, primarily with Canadian entrepreneurs. And before that, it was 10 years of one-on-one coaching with respect to financial management. So specifically profitability modeling, cash flow forecasting. And it was about 5 years ago where I realized that you can have tools and give entrepreneurs tools out the wazoo, but it's until we really start to understand the mindset and the motive behind what we're doing that we really start to lock in and get ourselves in a position to master our money. So very excited to have you all engaged. We actually have 10 people that are going to be a part of this 21-day financial fitness challenge. I want to thank you all for having the courage to step up and do this. I know confronting your money, and if you've had a chance to look at the workbooks, some of you may have been wondering, what have I gotten myself into? But having the courage to take a look at where you're at and where you want to go, it takes a lot of bravery to take a peek at this. So I want to take that moment to just applaud you and your courage to do that. So we've got 10 people from across the country. We've got some people in Toronto, Ottawa, BC, Alberta, no one in Saskatchewan, just me. And so a phenomenal group of people. Hopefully you'll all get, you'll take a moment or two to look at the locker room and meet one another. We've got Nola, Helen, Carolyn, Dana, Cindy, Deanne, Melanie, Lorelei, Johnny, and Carol as a part of this 21-day financial challenge. So welcome to you all. Thank you again for being here and stepping up. And the next 21 days is going to be a lot of fun. We're just getting to know one another now, and I suspect by the end of this journey, we might have some tears, some laughter, and a lot of transformation through this process. So let's get us kicked off. I did put together a video yesterday on what the matrix is. I've been hearing from a number of you that the link didn't work. I'm going to double check. Why not? I know every time I try it, it does connect. I've also placed it in the locker room under the Bring It On section. So it's in there. It says, welcome to the matrix. The video is posted there. So it gives you an overview, a larger overview as to what the matrix is and what our time together is going to look like. But as many of you probably know, I think, Johnny, you might have been the only one that hasn't been to one of my boot camps or presentations. The money matrix is really about exploring 3 realms, one being money management, the other being mindset, and the third being motive. And when all of these come together, we end up in this sweet spot of really truly being able to master our money. So our first week, we are actually diving into money management. And the big reason for this, the objective of this is to really find clarity and intention around what we want to create. When I go through the list, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm looking at the list of our participants, and I think every single one of you is actually an entrepreneur. You all have your own practice, you all have your own business, so this is really going to resonate with you. And a lot of you actually help entrepreneurs in the area of financial empowerment as well, so thank you for doing that. So when it comes to clarity, it's interesting. When I present, there's a couple key questions that most people, not just entrepreneurs, are not aware of. One is how much money do I actually be needing to, how much money do I need to earn from the business to take care of my financial situation, right? So it's interesting. Most entrepreneurs are just taking a draw from the business, and they're usually paying themselves when the business is able to pay them, versus truly understanding what needs to happen for them to take care of their numbers at home. Some other key questions that they can't answer are, you know, how much money do I need to have in my emergency fund? How much money do I need to be putting aside for investment? How much money do I actually even need to retire in a healthy or safe way? And, you know, how much do I need to be putting aside to make that happen? So the whole idea this week is to walk you through step by step how to actually find clarity with respect to your numbers. And once we're done the week, you will have a very good idea of not only what you need to be putting aside for investing, saving, sharing, spending, not only from a needs perspective, but from a wants perspective and a debt repayment perspective. But when we figure out those 4 pillars, we're going to know exactly what you need to be bringing home on a monthly basis, including taxes. And then we take that over to the business, and then we find a way for the business to generate that for you. The other thing I love about working with entrepreneurs is that the only ceiling to how much we earn is what we believe we're worth, or that our product or service is worth. And I know a lot of you are probably going, I'm not so sure I believe that right now, but I have to tell you, I see it again and again and again and again. It's really about your perceived value of your sense of self-worth and what it is that you're putting out into the community. So I don't want you to get frightened by the number that's going to come up when we start talking about what you actually need to earn, because I can tell you, you can start tripling and quadrupling your income very, very quickly once you figure all of this out. It happens every single time. You need to trust in the process, and we obviously have some work to do and some lifting with respect to figuring out what has been sabotaging our success in the past. But I'm going to reinforce that message. Do not worry about the earning number when we finally figure it out, because that's not the issue here. The issue has been what you have been doing and your patterns that have kept you stuck where you are now. So everybody clear on that? That's all good? Okay. All right. So, and I'm just going by Nola's head shake that we can move on, because I can't see the rest of you. So there you go. Okay. I have to just move this over here so I can get into my Word document. So let's get us set up for our daily drill. If you've read the manual, you are going to know that a recording of this session is going to be posted to the management piece in our locker room. So for those of you that are not on this call and have missed it, you can click here. Or if you need to go back and just get a recap of what we've talked about today, that's going to be there for you as well. So as you can tell, I am scrolling through our document here. You will notice here on page, I believe this is page 6. If you haven't yet taken the money type quiz, I strongly encourage you to do that. It's an aha moment and an eye-opener that will actually show you kind of what money types have been sabotaging your success up until this point. The other piece that I recommend here is that while you have the report open, make sure to save the report. And then if you get a chance, print off the report and start to highlight the actual patterns or opinions or attitudes that resonate with you. Because you probably haven't scored 100% in each money type. There's been things that are there that, oh yeah, I do that. So those patterns are going to be key for us to tap into later, because we're going to have to start to reframe those. All right. I was also telling Nola that I am going to add a money type portion to the locker room. So if you're brave enough, I'm certainly going to put my money types up there. They change as I go through different points in my month or different life experiences. But I'm going to encourage you to take the money type quiz throughout this process so that you can see what is softening for you and what's becoming stronger. And if you feel like sharing with us what's going on for you, that would be great. Okay, so day 1, here we go. This is us getting started. I've put this together because I have found that most people, most entrepreneurs, much like us trying to create a business budget, we typically don't move right to Excel. We typically try to sketch information out, collect information in a document, correct things well, it's, you know, in paper and pencil format. So this is what today is all about. We are going to start collecting information pertaining to our finances, and it is on this scratch pad that you can actually start to write your answers out. Tomorrow, we will start to input them into Excel, but today we're just grabbing all of the information. So bear with me here because I have a couple of tips for you as you go through this. This exercise is going to take you anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how organized you are and where all of your information is currently stored. The other piece that's important for you to know about this is that when we transfer the money or the numbers over to Excel, it's going to be done on a monthly basis. So when we're talking about monthly household income, you might be getting paid every 2 weeks. So take your pay stub, if you have a pay stub, and then obviously multiply that by 2, or if you multiply it by 52 per week, it depends on how you're getting paid. I'm actually not going to get into that now because I'm worried I'm going to confuse you on that. So I'm going to leave that. But just make sure that the numbers that you put in here are all based on monthly values. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So with respect to your monthly household income, just a note here, if you're an entrepreneur, I suspect, like many of my clients, you actually don't generate a monthly income. You're not getting the pay stub. You're taking what you can when you can get it. So in this number, in this box, I'd like you to put what your average paycheck might be, or what your average draw or dividend, or however you're taking money out of the business, what that's going to look like here. It's certainly important for our current snapshot. It's going to be more important as we move forward to see what the real number needs to be. Because again, like every single client that I have, they have been underpaying themselves. What they need to earn, they think that, okay, I only need to earn $4,000 or $5,000. That's my contribution. When we figure out the real number, it's usually close to double that. Again, they're like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? But again, I don't want you to worry about that, because that part is the easy part. Creating that revenue is the easy part. If you are in a marriage or in a partnership and you have another individual in the household that is bringing in income, make sure to include it here, because what we're looking to do is that as a unit, what needs to happen collectively, right? So we're going to separate the two. You'll notice that in the Excel sheet, there's room for 2 incomes plus a whole bunch of other sources of income. So just make sure that you're separating the two and make sure that that's on a monthly budget, monthly perspective. Is that clear for everybody? Good? All right. Now, when it comes to monthly deductions, it's interesting. Most employees, I have to say, are not going through their pay stubs and actually looking to see what's being taken off for taxes, union dues, vacations, pensions. So if your pay stubs are actually, if you have pay stubs and they're listing those deductions, please make sure that you're listing them here specifically. For examples of what kind of deductions to look for, you can go to page 11 of your manual, and it outlines there for you what you can look for. All right. And then what other forms of personal income do you receive? So in my experience with clients, it could be anything from rental property income. It could be cell phone stipends, vehicle expenses that they get from the company, any sort of government benefits like child subsidies, child care, any sort of child or spousal support from another partner. Lots of different examples there. If there's anything that your business is paying for on a separate basis where the business is writing you a check or taking care of that, make sure to put it here in other income. This is your brainstorming board. So you get to put whatever you need in here, and obviously the data that you want to transfer over, that's up to you as well. All right. Then on the next page, obviously, we're going to walk you through all of your household expenses. Lots of examples here: your rent, mortgage, property taxes, home insurance, maintenance, security systems. Now, if you don't budget for maintenance right now, just leave it out. We will be budgeting for it going forward and throughout the rest of the week. So just put what you feel is accurate for you right here. Any sort of security systems, water, gas, cable, home phones, cell phones. It's interesting, oftentimes we go right to what our bills look like, but we forget about those monthly subscriptions that we have on credit cards. So make sure you're thinking about those when you start listing out your expenses here. All your expenses related to vehicle. Now, if it's a business expense like parking, we're going to leave it on the business side. But for your household vehicle expenses, leases on cars, loan payments, insurance, maintenance, repairs, winter tires, this is the season, right? Getting those tires swapped, plates, any sort of parking that you might incur as you drop kids off to activities or grab a coffee or brunch with friends in the morning, public transportation, if that applies to you, taxis, fuel, membership. You can see it's interesting. When we typically go through a regular budget, a lot of these things are forgotten. And so when we forget these things, we forget to budget to actually earn to make sure that we're taking care of these expenses. List all the expenses related to your children. Just a reminder here, any sort of birthday presents, Christmas presents, birthday parties that start to add up. Just again, this is your scratch board. List it all. This is your opportunity. Expenses related to telephone, internet, online entertainment, put them down there. This is all pretty self-explanatory. Lots of great examples there for you. Again, your living expenses and telephone and entertainment, we tend to forget. This is why I added Netflix. We tend to forget a lot of those monthly subscriptions that come off our credit card. iTunes, Netflix, any sort of gym memberships that you may have, make sure that you're going through those. Any charitable expenses. So I don't know if any of you do tithing, or Sophie and I donate to World Vision every month. Again, it's on our credit card. So, you know, it's kind of like, oh, you know, it tends to get forgotten there. Any sort of door-to-door solicitations that you give to, or POP requests, which is point of purchase. This is when you're at the grocery store in the till and they're like, would you like to donate today to, you know, the Children's Foundation. So make sure if you budget for it, put it in there. We're going to make sure that we're covering everything in this budget so that you're never under capitalized. And then list all of your outstanding non-mortgage debt. So this is going to be your credit cards, line of credit, any sort of back taxes you owe, or any sort of love money that you owe. We're going to get in debt a little bit deeper later this week, but here this is a really good start for you to list what you have and list the balance owing. Do you have a savings account or emergency fund, and how much money do you put aside monthly to make sure that emergency fund is established? Again, the majority of clients I work with actually tap into their savings to start their business. So most of them don't have savings. They've cashed in their savings to put it into the business and to survive. So again, there's no judgment on any of these answers. Nobody's going to see them unless you want to show them, but this is about you getting real with you and where you're currently at. List all financial deposits made to investment accounts. So this is just on a monthly basis. If you currently have fixed amounts that are going in to any sort of investment vehicle, like a tax-free savings account, an RRSP, RESPs for your kids, mutual funds, stocks, index funds. If there's anything currently planned, let's get it on there on paper. And then list your current balances for all financial investments. If you get time to do this, great. If not, don't worry. We are going to be doing this later this week. So good to get started on it here if you can. And then what do your current discretionary spending habits look like? So by this, I mean, now again, most people aren't aware of this number, and I'm not going to get you to go through all of your debit card statements and all of your credit card statements. A lot of money coaches will get you to do that to see exactly where you've been spending money. if you're like the majority of Canadians, we're spending $1.71 for every dollar that we earn. We're $27,000 in debt. So if you're like most of us, there's probably a flag here that we need to fix. I don't think we need to get into knowing exactly what it is that we spent our money on, because we're moving forward and we're going to put together a really solid plan with respect to how much money you can spend going forward. And we've got some tips and tools there. But if you can rough out an idea of, okay, well, currently this is what I think it looks like. You know, I'm spending approximately this on coffees and this on eating out. Just throw it in here. If you have any idea, that's great. Again, our real goal out of this is to put together a new plan for you, not necessarily trying to fix and alter your current one, but putting one together for you that's going to be a healthy position for you. And then lastly, if there are any other expenses which you feel that I haven't outlined here that you need to account for. So really, it's that simple. It's not going to, again, depending on how organized you are with all of your numbers, it can be easy to find all of these numbers. For some of you, you might need to be doing a little bit of digging. If you are in a relationship, you have a spouse or a partner that can help you dig out some of these numbers, that would be great, right? Double effort, say you get these numbers, I'll get these numbers. Let's just get them onto paper right now. Tomorrow we start converting them over into Excel, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do that. So you can start to see, okay, here's our current snapshot, and here's what we need to fix. Okay, that's enough talking for me. What questions do you have? What can I answer for you to make sure that you're very clear with respect to your mission today? Any questions? Nola's shaking her head no. I can't see the rest of you. So if I don't hear from the rest of you, I'm going to see. Oh, I hear a voice.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't have any questions yet. I think I have to work through it and then the questions will come up.
Okay, that's a really good point. So thank you for introducing that point, because if questions come up for you today, the best way to reach me is going to be by text. So you can fire me off a text at 306-713-8321. Again, my number and all my contact information is in the manual. The text I can respond to right away. Emails I can't get to right away, but the text I can. The other piece, if you're comfortable doing it, throw your question into the locker room, because then I can respond to it and everybody can benefit from the value of from the question itself, and then obviously the answer. Because I guarantee you, I know that this topic of money is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. There's a lot of shame and secrecy around this topic. But I guarantee you, if you're asking the question, there's at least 5 others that are thinking it. So if you want to post it, that's great. If you don't and you want to text me, that's fine too. What I will ask you, if you do text me, is if you are comfortable with me sharing the question anonymously. So one of you have asked this question, and if it's appropriate, obviously, then I'll post it in the locker room so that we can all benefit from the courage that you had to ask the question in the first place. All right. Any other questions or feedback or comments? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited is everybody? Woohoo! Nola's saying 10. Again, I can't see any hands.
9.
9. I love it. A little apprehension. That's good. There's always room for a little bit more excitement, right? Beautiful. Okay. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to leave it there. I certainly don't mind, before I forget, if everybody reminds me to record the sessions. I have a tendency with clients to forget recording, but I recorded this session. So as soon as this downloads, I'm going to post it again to our locker room so everyone has access to it. I want to say again, really how appreciative and grateful I am for all of you to sign on. You know, it didn't take you long. I think we sold out really in about 2 weeks. The number was 10. I wanted to cap out there. I really did not want to overwhelm you. I did not want to overwhelm myself. I knew there was going to be lots of bugs and glitches as we went through this. So thank you really for showing up, for having the courage to be here, for having the courage to go through this process. I promise you, at the other end, it's amazing. It's amazing what starts to show up. So if you can, print off your workbook, use it as a journal as well, especially in your on your Saturdays, your days of reflection. If things start to show up for you throughout the course of the week, because I promise you they will. As you start to focus on doing this, and as your attention starts to really drive in on the topic of money, crazy things are going to start to show up in your life. I'm going to encourage you now to start writing those things down. We certainly do that at the end of the session, at the end of our 21-day challenge through the map. But as they start to appear for you now, make sure that you're writing them down, because that's you creating these amazing things that are going to start to come about. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to honor my commitment to get us done within 30 minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to text me at 306-713-8321. And if you want to look at this video again, just go online, and it'll be in the locker room under management. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Actually, I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll catch up with you on Wednesday.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, Nola, for letting me know.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.